this is Karen.
Hello everybody, I am Shane.
Today we're looking at a lesson called The Possible Origins of XOXO. And the vocabulary words are represent.
Represent.
In many cultures, owls represent wisdom.
Who? Owls?
Owls.
Who? Theory.
Theory.
The politician believes in a theory about the disease that is not supported by science.
Connect.
Connect.
The native people believed that everything in this world is connected.
Signature.
Signature.
The delivery driver handed me my package and asked for my signature.
Immigrant.
Immigrant.
Robert's grandfather was an immigrant from Europe. So we're talking about XOXO.
So X's are for kisses, and O's are for hugs.
Aww. Did you ever do that? Like, at the end of the letter, or you write your friends a note. At the end, you will write XOXO, representing kisses and hugs, kisses and hugs.
Yeah, I used to when I was in grade school, if I was writing a love letter to one of my little girlfriends, I would do that.
I remember writing letters to my friends. I would actually write that too.
Aww.
But I don't really see people doing that nowadays.
Yeah, people don't really do that in texts or anything like that. It might be a little bit old-fashioned.
Kind of miss that though.
Sure. Now we can use emojis. It's easier.
True. You're
Those are
right.
more obvious, right? Because why X? So actually, there's some theories about the X. Why is it representing a kiss? And this might be because when people used to sign their name, they would sign it X.
That's right.
But this was a Christian thing. And that represented, an X was like a cross. And this is like, in the name of Christ, this is me. Or I say this is true.
That's right.
Right? But actually,
And people always kiss their crosses,
or
right?
kissing crosses too. But actually, it just looks more like a lips.
You think so?
And the O should be like this, right?
Okay, so O, if you're looking from like a top view, and then it kind of looks like two people hugging. Right.
Like that, right?
So that's why XO and XO represent hugs and kisses.
Pretty interesting.
I know.
Okay, you be the O, I'll be the X. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
The possible origins of XOXO. The letters X and O have long been used to represent kisses and hugs at the end of a letter or email. But what exactly is the story behind these fun, friendly symbols?
Today's lesson is called The Possible Origins of XOXO. Hi everyone, my name is Jeff.
And I'm Mike. Oh, XOXO. Of course, this isn't a word.
Kisses.
You wouldn't want to try to pronounce that as a word. We're talking about writing X's and O's at the end of a letter. Yeah, if you're writing a friendly letter to a good friend, a family member, an X, I think, represents a kiss, right? And the O is a hug. So it's hugs and kisses. You might write this right after your name or something at the end of a letter. But yeah, there's the question. Where did this start from? Why is it an X? Why don't you write a K and an H for kiss and hug or something like that?
Good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
X's and O's? Xylophones and oranges?
Anyways, the letters X and O have long been used to represent kisses and hugs at the end of a letter or email. We've all seen it before, but why? That is the question.
That is a very good question because, yeah, we look at the X and we look at the O at the end of the letter and we know that it's a friendly way of saying kisses and hugs. The X represents the kiss, the O, the hug. Represent, this verb basically means it stands for, it symbolizes. It's not that thing, but we know that it means that thing, all right? In the same way we use flags to represent different countries, especially in in the Olympics or something like that. You might use emojis to represent feelings. You don't have to show you're happy or sad. You can use an emoji. The picture represents something. You're not writing the word or saying it. You're not having a photograph of it, but a little cartoon or a symbol of some kind. It takes the place of something. We understand this. For example, in many cultures, owls represent wisdom. Oh, okay. If you see an owl in a statue or a painting, it might represent wisdom.
But again, back to our article. Here's the question. But what exactly is the story behind these fun, friendly symbols?
Why the X?
We'll start to answer this question right after this.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny。同学们知道 XOXO 是什么意思吗？它可不是首字母缩写哦。刚刚 Mike 老师故意讲了一个 X 开头的单字是 xylophone，xylophone 就是木琴，然后他还讲了 O 开头用 orange， 对不对？好，那其实 XOXO 代表了亲吻跟拥抱。人们在写信、写电子邮件或是传讯息的时候，可能会在结尾加上 XOXO 来表达亲吻跟拥抱，那这会给人一种热情亲密的感受。我们今天的课程就来看看到底 XOXO 是怎么变成亲吻跟拥抱的。好，这边有一个单字是 represent 这个动词表示代表、象征，有一个意思相近的动词是 symbolize。symbolize symbolize 它有象征标志的意思。接回课文中。
The possible origins of XOXO. One theory is that an X looks like somebody getting their lips ready for a kiss. However, it's more likely that the story of X dates back to the Middle Ages. Back then, many people couldn't read or write. Drawing an X was an easy way to sign contracts. The X also represented the Christian cross, so by signing X, it was like saying, "In Christ's name, this is true." Then, as people began wearing crosses around their necks, they sometimes kissed them, and X's and kisses have been connected ever since.
So, X's and O's, they represent stuff. We all love these symbols, and we use them in emails and letters, but why and where do they come from? Well, one theory is that an X looks like somebody getting their lips ready for a kiss. You see, I always thought that X meant kiss because I could eliminate O as being kiss, because like the O, it's obviously a hug, so I just thought, all right, X must mean kiss, but apparently there is a theory behind this. How about that? Now here, before we move on, we have the noun theory to explain. A theory is kind of like a big idea that explains a lot of stuff, like the theory of gravitation, the theory of relativity. Oh man, there are all sorts of theories out there, especially there in physics. Anyways, for example, the politician believes in a theory about the disease that is not supported by science.
So here's a theory. I don't know how we can test this theory that the X looks like people, getting ready to kiss, but it's not that important. We're not talking about science, but that is one theory. However, as we read next, it's more likely that the story of X dates back to the Middle Ages. The idea of X being a kiss dates back to the Middle Ages, and it's not because it looks like someone getting ready to kiss. Let's find out more about this theory. Back then, it says in the Middle Ages, back then many people couldn't read or write.
They would make their mark, and usually it would look like an X.
Interesting.
Yeah. Drawing an X was an easy way to sign contracts.
People didn't go to school. They couldn't do the alphabet. They couldn't write their name even.
So you made your mark, and your mark was an X. Now there's more. The X also represented the Christian cross. So by signing X, it was like saying, "In Christ's name, this is true, i.e., I'm signing this and I'm swearing to God.
Interesting. And I believe in the Greek alphabet, X is kind of the first letter in Christ.
Okay.
I think that's also why X is used in old Christian tradition. So there you go. It has something to do with the church, with Jesus. Then, as people began wearing crosses around their necks, they sometimes would kiss them. They sometimes kiss them, and X's and kisses have been connected ever since. So it's an old symbol for your name, for Christ. People would kiss it. It has some kind of loving connotation. It was connected to the X, or kisses and X's were connected from long ago. When something is connected, it's joined, it's linked, it's two things that were separate, but now they have come together in some kind of way. It could be in a physical way. If you hold someone's hand, your bodies are connected. If you plug something into the wall, it's connected to the wall, or the electricity coming through the plug or something like that. But also, people can be connected. You can be connected to your friends by sending them messages and talking to them every day. You're not actually touching, but there's some kind of link. There's something that's bringing you together in some way. For example, the native people believed that everything in this world is connected. Nature, life, death, the sun, the earth, it's all joined together in sort of like a, an ecological kind of way.
It all comes together if you look at it from the right perspective.
There you go.
All right, folks, it's now time for us to take a break, but don't go away. I get the sneaking suspicion that when we come back, we'll be talking about O.
好 X 代表亲吻，那有一种说法是 X 看起来就好像是把嘴唇准备好要亲吻。我觉得 X 真的很像两个人在接吻，你看这样子是不是有那个 X 的符号出现了呢？好，不过课文写到说更有可能的是X 的故事呢，可以追溯到中世纪。好，我们先来看单字 theory。Theory 表示观点、看法或是理论学说。Jeff 老师刚刚说到这个 theory of gravitation 表示重力论 ，theory of relativity 表示相对论。好，那这边还有两个重点哦。第一个是句型 It's likely 加上 that 子句是表达说很可能怎么样怎么样。我们可以在形容词 likely 的前面加上 more 去修饰它可能的程度，表达说较有可能怎么样怎么样。例如It's more likely that the event will be postponed. 那场活动较有可能被延期。好，第二个重点是 date back to， 它可以表达追溯到什么，回溯到什么什么，后面是接某个年代或是时期。好，例如 The custom dates back to medieval times， 这个习俗可以追溯到中世纪时期。好，那么在中世纪时期，很多人都不识字，他们要签合约的时候，有一个简单的方法，就是画一个叉叉，画一个 X。那么这个 X 也代表了基督教的十字架，所以签上 X 就好像是在说，奉耶稣基督之名，这是真的。我承诺，我保证这是真的，像这样的感觉。好，那么除此之外，当人们开始在脖子上面戴十字架的时候，有时候会拿起十字架来亲一下嘛。那从此之后，这个 X 都一直跟亲吻是有关联的，而这个字母就带有亲吻的含义了。Mike 老师刚刚用到 connotation 这个字就表示含义或是言外之意，这个字是拼作 connotation connotation。好，再来看单字 connect 它可以表达使什么相连、连接或是联系起来。单字例句写到说，美洲原住民认为世界上的所有事物都是环环相扣的。那老师们聊到说，从生态的观点，从生态的角度来看，会觉得真的世界万物都是有关联的。老师们有用到 ecological 这个字 ecological，ecological 它是形容生态的、生态学的，还有用到 perspective 来表达看法、观点，这个字是拼作 perspective perspective。介华课文中。
The possible origins of XOXO. As for O representing hugs, it too may have started as a signature. As one story goes, Jewish immigrants arriving in America preferred using an O to sign contracts instead of the Christian sign of the cross. But a much simpler theory is that an O looks like a top-down view of two people hugging. So, the next time you sign with an XOXO, just think, you might actually be using two of the world's oldest emojis.
Okay, let's start talking about O, just like I said we would. As for O representing hugs, it too may have started as a signature. I thought it was just, oh, you put your arms around someone, it's kind of like an O.
That makes sense.
Interesting. Anyways, though, here, when we're talking about a signature, we're talking about your mark. Before people could write back in the Middle Ages there, we talked about that earlier, they made their mark on contracts. They signed it with an X. Your signature now, well, that's how you write your name officially, to sign a document or a contract or something like that. So there you go. O, just like X, may have started as a signature. Amazing. For example, the delivery driver handed me my package and asked for my signature. Please sign this, sir.
All right, that's your official name, the way you would show your identity, and the idea is, of course, that your signature is different from other people's, and no one can copy it because it's yours and yours alone. All right, so there you go. But as one story goes, Jewish immigrants arriving in America preferred using an O to sign contracts instead of the Christian sign of the cross.
Which makes sense. If you're not Christian, why would you use a Christian symbol?
Yeah, exactly. Jewish people wouldn't wear a cross as jewelry, so why would they use the same kind of signature? This, of course, assuming they can't write their name using the other letters of the alphabet. The simplest way would be an O, because I can't write, but I'm not a Christian, so I don't want to use the same. This would be for immigrants. Maybe they could write in their own language, but maybe they couldn't write in English, which wouldn't be surprising if they're immigrants, because this is a person who enters a new country, not their home country, not where they were born, but they enter this new country to live there. They're moving from their home country or some other place to a new country to settle, not as a tourist. So if you move your whole family, or if your whole family moves from where you were born, say Taiwan, but you sell your house here, you buy a house or get a new place to live in Australia, you are immigrants to Australia, moving there to settle and live. For example, Robert's grandfather was an immigrant from Europe. Yeah, many years ago, and even now, but especially many years ago, people would go from maybe Ireland or Italy or Russia, move to America, and have their new home there.
Okay, so that's one theory about O. But a much simpler theory is that an O looks like a top-down view of two people hugging. So the next time you sign with an XOXO, just think you might actually be using two of the world's oldest emojis.
Okay.
Is this an emoji or an emoticon?
Good question.
We'll save that for another lesson. For now, though, our article is now in the books, and it's time for us to ask and answer the what do you think question. What do you think, Mike? Can you think of any other letters that are used as emojis? And why are they used that way?
Well, I'd say some people use Z, or maybe several Zs, and as a form of sleep, right? You're showing that you're bored or you're sleeping, and I think this comes from the fact that it kind of sounds like the noise of someone snoring, right? Kind of I don't know if it's actually a Z sound, but when you see several Zs in a row in a message or in a cartoon, you know that this represents sleeping or at least being bored.
There you have it. All right, folks. With that, our lesson is now officially in the books. Bye-bye.
Take care. XO.
好，那么 O 代表拥抱，这个符号看起来就像是两个人在拥抱嘛。不过课文提到说 O 可能一开始也是用来当作签名方式。那么正如一个故事所说的，抵达美国的犹太移民比较喜欢用 O 来签订合约，而不是用基督教十字架的标志。好，我们先来看两个单字 signature 这个名词它表示签名署名。好，那么 immigrant 它是指移民，是外来的移民，从外地迁入的移民。如果我们把字首 I am 改成 e 就会变成 emigrant 则是指从本地迁出去移居他国的移民。好，那这边还有两个重点哦。第一个是 as 什么什么 goes 表示正如什么什么所说，据说。例如 as the saying goes nothing ventured nothing gained。俗话说啊，不入虎穴焉得虎子。那这句话字面意思是你没有冒险就没有收获，也就是用来鼓励人家要勇于尝试，勇于冒险。所以就像我们中文说的不入虎穴焉得虎子。好，第二个重点是动词 prefer 是指较喜欢偏好的意思。我们要表达比较喜欢什么而不是什么，或者是表达更喜欢什么胜过什么。这时候我们来看几个句型哦。第一个是prefer 加名词或动名词 instead of 名词或动名词。例如 Rita prefers wearing pants instead of skirt。 Rita 比较喜欢穿长裤而不是裙子。第二个句型 prefer 名词或动名词 to 名词或动名词，像是 Some people prefer texting to talking in person。 有些人更喜欢传讯息胜过当面讲话。第三个句型 prefer to 原形动词 rather than 原形动词。例如 Dave prefers to jog in the park rather than work out at a gym。 Dave 比较喜欢在公园慢跑而不是在健身房运动。课文最后写到说，在下次在信件或是简讯结尾使用 XOXO 的时候，你只要想着你其实可能正在使用世界上最古老的两种绘文字哦。好，文中用到 emoji 这个字就是绘文字，也就是我们传讯息常常用的那些表情符号，像是笑脸符号啊、哭脸符号，或是各种食物、动物等等的小图案。那么 Jeff 老师刚刚说的 emoticon emoticon 则是用英文字元啊或是标点符号去拼凑出来的表情符号，像我们一个冒号再搭配一个 P 是不是就有吐舌头的样子，还有 ORZ 五体投地的样子等等。好，那么最后 Mike 老师有提到说，人们常常用 Z 来代表睡觉，老师就猜说这搞不好是跟打呼的声音有关。那我们来学一下 snore 这个字 S-N-O-R-E。 snore 当名词就可以表达打呼鼾声，那么当动词就是指打呼打鼾的意思。好，那么以上是今天的讲解，同学别走开，马上回来哦。
Welcome to my very special home. This is Nara Park. Isn't it beautiful? This park is also one of the oldest parks in Japan. It's almost 700 years old. All of my family lives here in this park. There are lots of temples in this park. The Totaiji Temple in the park is one of the oldest temples in Japan. The first deer came here hundreds of years ago. People say a god came here on a white deer 400 years ago. After that, no one was allowed to hurt a deer. Now there are almost 1,200 deer in the park. A lot of people think there are too many of us now. We are very friendly to people. Being with lots of people is normal for us. We are even happier when they bring us crackers to eat. Please visit and bring plenty of crackers.
See you next time!